guys, the Black Critic Guy back with another video where I react to an article that's ranking a certain topic of some sort. This one was sent to me by one of my subscribers, Patworks1, I hope I pronounced that right, and he sent me an article by Looper that's ranking the 25 best Nickelodeon shows of all time. Not of the 2010s, not of the 90s, not of the 2020s, of all time. So I'm really curious to see how this list will turn out. As you probably all have known or have already seen in my previous reaction video, I did not really like IndieWire's ranking of the Marvel Cinematic Universe films. I got way too angry. I apologize. I got so angry after I was done recording the video. I had like this massive headache for the whole night, and it would not go away. So I'm gonna try my best not to get too angry and try my best to respect their opinions, even if I disagree with it vehemently. But I'm hoping, Looper, I believe they're a YouTube channel as well, and from the videos I've seen from them in the past, I've always kind of liked their content. So maybe this one might actually be a lot better. Maybe I might actually agree with it immensely. That'd be awesome. I haven't done one of these videos where I'm like, you know what, that's a great choice. Oh, that's amazing. I always seem to disagree with it heavily. So maybe this one will be the one that turns a new leaf for these types of videos, or turns a new leaf for my opinions on articles ranking something. So yeah, let's go ahead and dive into this. Now, before we get into it, as you can see on the page, we already have Aang as the first picture that you see in this all-time ranking list of Nickelodeon shows, which I should also mention too, Nickelodeon has been a very influential channel for me growing up. SpongeBob is one of my all-time favorite shows. Yes, it has declined in quality, I get it, it's gone on for too long, it's become the Nickelodeon equivalent of The Simpsons, but still, in its heyday, in its height, it was some of the best TV for adults and for kids. It was very entertaining. And I would almost say I molded a lot of my personality around the character of SpongeBob. His overly positive nature, his openness to people, like his excitement for life. I embody a lot of those characteristics. So SpongeBob holds a very special place in my heart. I mean, Rugrats, Rocket Power, Avatar: The Last Airbender. There's so many amazing shows, and I haven't even named all of them. Cat Dog, Hey Arnold, Rocko's Modern Life. Is Invader Sim Nickelodeon? Or was that No, that was Nickelodeon. You know what? I'm gonna be honest. Never was really a fan of Invader Zim. I think I only appreciated it years later. And to this day, I wouldn't say I'm a fan at all. Sorry. I get its popularity. I get that it's a cult classic, but it's not for me, man. So yeah, I hope that they have criterias for this. Now, this was made a month ago, so it's July 31st as I'm recording this. This was made in June 24th. Oh, shoot. No, this is actually older. It says June 24th. 2022. This is 2 years old. That's interesting, and it's written by that guy right there. And again, please don't send hate to the writers of these articles. I must implore you, they are people with their own opinion, and I think we should respect their opinion, even if we vehemently disagree. I mean, just look at my past reaction videos to articles. I didn't go and seek those people out and said, you know what, you're stupid. So please, do not attack these people. And Nate, please be nice, Nate. Please be nice. Alright, I'm hoping he came up with criterias. Please tell me you came up with criterias. Okay, wait, stop. If anyone... What is with these articles and not, like, adding criterias? Criterias really would help the reader understand your thought process and what made you place certain shows over others. Like, are you gonna really focus more on, like, did it make me laugh? Was there memorable characters? Was there deeper meanings behind the stories? Is it about the visuals? Like, what what constitutes the rankings? How does one show rank over the other? Like if Avatar is, let's say Avatar is number 3, okay, and SpongeBob's number 2. What would make SpongeBob a better show than Avatar: The Last Airbender? You know, if you give your criteria, it would help a little bit to understand why you would place it there. I already saw what the first one was. So number 25 is Cousin Skeeter, which I'm gonna say, you know what? First time I have not raged at the placement or the first placement I've seen on the list. Because honestly, Cousin Skeeter is a highly underrated TV show, and I'm glad, Nate, thank you for giving it a shout out. Cousin Skeeter, I don't like puppets. I do not like puppets. But Cousin Skeeter, the show, phenomenal. Always laughed, it always made me smile, and that opening song, we know how it does, and you know Skeeter flows, and I wanna do is hug you, cause I like your Speedo. You know what's funny? They took a pop song, and they just basically threw Skeeter's name into it, which is kind of funny. But that theme song was awesome. Skeeter's the one for me. He knows how to get down, knows how to party, baby. And not only that, this show introduced us to Megan Good. How could I possibly hate a show that introduced us to the goddess known as Megan Good? And I recently saw a picture of her. Man, no pun intended, but she is still looking very good. So I'm thankful to see Cousin Skeeter here. I'm so glad that he put it in the top 25. It's one of the most obscure Nickelodeon shows and the most easily forgotten, honestly, in my opinion. So I'm glad to see Cousin Skeeter on the list. Well done. Of all time, though, if you're going to put this on the list, you definitely have to put Zoe 101 on the list. Because Zoe 101 is way better than Unfabulous. Like, I remember Unfabulous, but I don't remember it being a good show. I don't remember it being very interesting as a show. So, I don't know, and also, like, Emma Roberts, she rubs me the wrong way a lot as an actress and as a person. I think she's a terrible person, honestly. But Wild Thornberrys at number 21, I don't know, I would argue this one should be a lot higher. I think it definitely deserves to be in the top 20. Maybe like even arguably maybe even in the teens. I'm sorry, not the teens, top 15. Cause the Wild Thornberrys was a show. It's one of those shows that was not only entertaining, but it was also education. It taught us a lot about animals. It taught us a lot about how their societies worked. I also like the idea of the fact that this young girl gets the power to talk to animals. That's so awesome. And of course, who could forget the most iconic character in the entire show? Smashing! Nigel Thornberry with his big old nose and his big chin. Smashing! How could you not like Nigel Thornberry? And his love for nature too is awesome. I remember, like, I used to really hate the character of Debbie, the sister of Eliza, and I still don't really like her that much, but, you know, I think time has really time has been very kind to her, in my opinion, because I kind of relate to her a little bit more. Like, she never really got to have a teenage life, because she's always traveling with her family, and maybe she just wanted a simple life. I don't blame her. I mean, she's still a bit bratty, but Darwin, man. Darwin's still a champ. I've always liked Darwin as a character. I love the fact that the voice actor for Darwin is also the voice actor for Mr. Harriman from Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends. That was great. I've always loved Darwin. Darwin is a great foil to Eliza. They have great chemistry. Those two together, oh, I love whenever they go out on journeys. He was basically the Chucky Finster of Wild Thornberrys. In fact, I see a lot of similarities between, like, Eliza reminds me a lot of Tommy, and Darwin reminds me a lot of Chucky. Debbie reminds me a lot of Angelica. Their brother, what's his name? Oh God, Shoot, how did I forget his name? I forgot his name. But, oh, it's gonna come to me one day, but he's basically the Phil and Lil equivalent in the Wild Thornberrys, because he's the wild kid, he does a lot of crazy stuff. Whoa. The Adventures of Jimmy Neutron at number 19. I want to see what shows are better than it. I feel like this should be a little higher. I could argue for its top 10 placement, but maybe top 15? Maybe in the top 15 and not number 15, like between 11 and 15, I think Jimmy Neutron should be somewhere there. I really like that it was one of the first fully CGI shows and it didn't look like shit. That's one really great thing about Jimmy Neutron. A fully 3D show that didn't look like shit. Like, you could watch Jimmy Neutron today and I think it would still hold up. Now, it wouldn't be as impressive as other 3D shows later on in its life, but for its time, it's still pretty impressive. I really like, of course, Jimmy's interaction with Carl and Sheen. I loved his will they, won't they relationship with Cindy, which I just realized. I was today years old when I found out that the voice of Cindy Vortex is the voice of Sandy Cheeks. I have been alive for 31 years, and only like a couple months ago did I find out the voice of Cindy Vortex is the voice of Sandy Cheeks. How the hell did I not know that? I'm the guy that looks stuff up. How did I not know that? That's insane. But yeah, I feel like this should be higher. I feel like it should be in the teens. Arguably could be top 10 material, but I don't know. It was inventive. The premises that they came up with were very engaging. I like the stories. I like the animation. The show is surprisingly funny. Like, you wouldn't think a show about a boy genius and his goofy friends would be as funny as it is, but it's freaking hilarious. This placement, I don't necessarily hate, but I don't necessarily agree with it. I'm curious to see what would be better than Jimmy Neutron. No. 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 What? No. Of all time? No. Of all time? No. Here I am once again. I'm hanging out. No! I feel like Kendrick. No! No, Negro! No! Can I address something about this show? You see that guy on the far left of the picture? Is it just me, or was he like the most randomest character? Because in some episodes, he's there. But then there'd be like stretches of episodes where you never see him, no one addresses that he's absent, and then he just pops up in another episode, and they treat it like, oh, hey, man. Like, as if he wasn't like gone for a couple of episodes. My ex-girlfriend's little niece loved this show, and we would have to watch it all the time. And that was the one thing I would always say to myself when I would watch it, like, where's that guy with the sleek hair and that he has a girlfriend, but he's like hitting it off with Victoria, whatever her name is in the show. The only character really that was great was the black guy. Like, I know I'm biased, Black Critic Guy, I'm rooting for the black guy, but no, he was really the best character. Like, Ariana Grande, I think her character gets way too much love in hindsight. I get that she blew up after the show, but even when the show was popular, I think people liked her too much. Like, she's supposed to be the dumb girl character, but she's supposed to be endearing. The problem is that she's the dumb girl character that's not very endearing. She's just terribly dumb. Like, unapologetically and lacking in humor dumb. Like, she's not funny dumb, she's just dumb. Like, really dumb. And then wasn't there like a guy that had like a he had like a dummy? He had like a puppet or something? I remember that guy. The teacher's great. I like the teacher a lot, although his relationship with his students a little uncomfortable, especially considering who produced and made the show. I don't know. I disagree. If you're gonna put Victorious on this list, it gotta be lower. It's definitely not better than Jimmy Neutron. I'm sorry, it's not better than Jimmy Neutron. Victorious as a show, character-wise, writing-wise, jokes, it's not a better show. And if you're gonna put Victorious in here, I better see Zoe 101 on this list. Because Zoe 101 is a better show than Victorious. Hell, I would even argue iCarly, and I don't even like iCarly that much, is a better show than Victorious. So that show better be on here too. All that better be on here too. Kenan and Kel better be on here too. Oh my god! Is that Taina at number 6? Yes. All the yeses. All the yeses. Yes. Absolutely. Yes. Yes. Taina absolutely deserves to be on this list. That is a highly underrated Nickelodeon TV show. And once again, with the classic theme song, Taina, Taina, in life. You are gonna stop me, you see, I will go far, Taina. I'm sorry, I keep singing like the theme song, but that really had a banger of a theme song. I like the characters, I thought it was funny, I'm glad to see it here. Because, again, it only lasted for 1 season, or at least 2. Most people probably don't even remember Taina. I'm delighted to see it on the list. However, Devil's Advocate, as a show, it's not better than Jimmy Neutron. I don't like that Jimmy Neutron's lower than Taina. A show that had no long-lasting, or didn't have a lot of staying power, only lasted for a short amount of time and has been forgotten by time. I think, respectfully, as much as I love Taina and I love that they gave it a shout out here, Jimmy Neutron should be higher than Taina. Alright, it's definitely better than Victorious. I'll give you that. But it's not better than Jimmy Neutron. I'm just saying. No. I'm sorry. Call me biased. Call me a fanboy. This is a top 10 Nickelodeon show. This should be in the top 10. This 14's too low. I'm sorry. This show should be in the top 10. It is honestly one of the best shows. Best, like, preteen live-action shows that Nickelodeon has ever produced. And it is freaking hilarious. It's still funny today. I remember a couple months ago, I watched a few of these episodes, and it's great. It's hilarious. Ned, Mosley? Is it Mosby or Mosley? Oh shoot, I forgot the black guy's name. Why did I forget the black guy's name? Cookie. Mose. Yeah, Mose. Her name was Mose. I adore this show. I think this show is hilarious. I love that whole thing where, like, the ugly girl becomes hot all of a sudden, and everyone's, like, fawning over her in the 2nd season, but she's like, no, dude, glow-ups like that are real, dog. I experienced that in real time. When I went from middle school to high school, there was this one girl who was, like, this really short girl that wore glasses and always wore her hair in a ponytail, and when she got to high school, boom! Wow! Whoa, where was this person the whole time, right? I loved his advice actually held up pretty well with surviving school. Now I get it, it was more or less humorous. Results may vary, that's how the show usually started. Like, hey, just to let you know, some of this stuff won't work. Just telling you. What even made the show great is that the adult characters are actually funny. The adults were actually funny. Sometimes it's hit or miss. Sometimes the adults are funny, sometimes they're just absolute cringe lords, and you're wondering what the hell they're doing there. But yeah, I would literally say every character in this show served a purpose. Even the side characters were interesting. The side characters, like there's this one kid with a bowl, like he has like a bowl cut. I remember him. There was like the PE teacher that always wears the shades, I think. The principal was hilarious. The janitor, who is literally the guy that voices Cosmo in the Fairly OddParents. This might be his best role outside of the Fairly OddParents. Because after a while, I feel like his shtick with the Fairly Odd Parents grew really, really old, his role in this show I thought was phenomenal. And he was like a like he was like the antithesis or like the counterbalance to the janitor in Scrubs. Like I could see a lot of similarities between the two characters. One's a cynic, but the other one is an optimist. And of course, Darren Norris played the optimist version of that janitor character, and he gave a lot of great advice to the kids. And it's great to see, you know, like in a show taking place in middle school, that the janitor got some respect. I mean, usually they're like toss-away characters or like humorous, haha, funny, they're stupid and slip up. I like that they gave him some form of respect in the show, you know. I'm happy for this place, or no, not, I keep saying I'm happy. I'm not happy about this place, but I'm happy it's on the list. But in all honesty, Ned's Declassified School Survival Guide should be a top 10 Nickelodeon show of all time. Unequivocally, it should be. 14's too low. I'm happy it's in the top 15, but it should be in the top 10. Like, I like Zoe 101. I like iCarly, but I don't think they're better shows than Ned's Declassified. Like, I feel like those shows were, or this show is better than those shows, in my personal opinion. Number 13. Oh, come on. Danny Phantom at number 13. No, come on. This is Butch Hartman's best show. Yes, I will go to my grave and proclaim the best show Butch Hartman ever created was Danny Phantom. That was his best show. Not Fairly Odd Parents, not Tough Puppy or whatever that show was called. No, Danny Phantom was his best show. He's a phantom. Dude, Danny Phantom, that was my jam, dog. Like, I honestly love that show. I could watch that show right now and I still love it. The best thing, by the way, since I get to talk about Danny Phantom again, dude, the teacher that whenever he, like, exclaims, he always says a book title. Mwah! Whoever thought of that idea deserves not just a raise, give that guy an Emmy for writing. Literally give him an Emmy. Because even the lines he says, the book titles he says, is actually relevant to what's happening in the scene. Like, I remember there's this one scene where he gets locked in a closet, and what does he exclaim? Cask of Amontillado! Brilliant! Or he wants to eat this food, I think, and it gets either blown in his face or something happens to it, and what does he say? Paradise Lost! Perfect! Again, not only was it funny that his exclamations are book titles, but the fact that the book titles are actually relevant to what's happening in the scene, a stroke of genius. Some of the best writing you'll ever find in a cartoon show, in a children's show, in a show in general. And I'm not even talking about the main characters yet. I'm just talking about a gag, a reoccurring gag with a secondary character who's voiced by Ron Perlman, aka Hellboy. Danny Phantom is just a great show. It has some of the best animation. It has some of the best specials. The villains are memorable. The side character. I love the fact that his sister, not Sam. His sister's not Sam. I almost said Sam. I don't know why. Shoot, what's her name? Danielle? I know her name started with a D too, but I like the fact that his sister ends up helping him and keeping his secret. You know, usually in a show like that, the sister's completely oblivious, or the sister hates her brother. There's an episode where, like, he loses his powers, or she goes back in time, I think. But it's one of those, there was an episode where she either went back in time, or where she was helping Danny because he's, like, losing his powers, and she puts on this suit that, like, cuts a ghost in, like, half, or not half, but, like, shreds off the layers of the ghost until they're, like, super weak, and then she captures him. There was also this, one of my favorite shots in the show. There's this shot where Danny is, like, floating in the air or flying in the air as a ghost, and then it, like, pans down or cuts to a shot where you see the sister looking up, and then she does, like, this. One of the reasons why I like that shot so much is because it's, like, a really, like, I got you, little bro. Your secret saved me, or I got you, little bro. I'm proud of you, little bro. Of course, like Danny as a character, love him. I liked seeing how he grew as a hero. You see him going through the growing pains of having to deal with being a ghost. We actually got to see him actually improve and learn about his powers and how he could be stronger and better. Oh, and then his partners, man. Sam and freaking... Why do I keep forgetting the black characters? I forgot what his name is. What's his friends' names? Shoot, I forgot what his friends' names were. I only remember Sam because I was a hardcore Danny Sam shipper. Like, immensely hardcore. I wanted that to happen so badly. Freaking, I was praying for it. And then the villains. Jesus Christ, the villains. What? You could almost argue this show has the best rogues gallery of any any children's TV show. I would dare say it might even rival or be like just below Batman's rogues gallery. No, hear me out. I'm only saying that it's below it because what's one thing we always remember about Batman? He has an amazing rogues gallery, memorable villains. The same thing goes for Danny Phantom. Like, there's so many memorable villains. There's the future version of himself. There's Vlad. There's the box ghosts. There's the guy that rides the motorcycle. There's freaking, what's it called? Father Time? The time guy? The one that read the story? Like, literally put the characters in a story and controlled their fate? That, voiced by Will Arnett? Ember, dude, come on. Amber, you will remember. And the designs, the character designs, the animation, phenomenal. Still good. They hold up today. They hold up today. If we could revive a show from the early 2000s, Danny Phantom is the first one on the list. Danny Phantom is the first one on the list. If not to even turn it into, like, a series of movies or to turn it into a live action movie or TV show, I would pay money to see that. You know what? I will say it right now. If they ever reboot or remake Danny Phantom, I'm 100% on board. You're not gonna hear me bitch. You're not gonna hear me complain because if there was ever a show that deserved to be remade, brought back from the doldrums of obscurity, and brought back to public consciousness, Danny Phantom is that show. I can't sing Danny Phantom's praises enough. I already have said it for like almost, 10 minutes? I love this show. From the small little details like the teacher exclaiming book titles, to even the bigger details like the fact that the family dynamics and the Fenton family and the interpersonal relationships, his internal struggle with being a ghost boy trying to live his life as a teenager. This is Butch Hartman's best show. It's his best show. I'm not even gonna deny it. It's his best show. Rocko's Modern Life. I mean, I've never been very nostalgic about Rocko's Modern Life. I understand its impact. I understand its inspiration or its relevance to Nickelodeon history. I mean, this is the show that really opened up a lot of doors for future creators. Particularly Steven Hillenburg, the creator of SpongeBob, worked on this show. In fact, he came up with the concept of SpongeBob working on Rocko's Modern Life. So if this show didn't exist, chances are we would have never gotten SpongeBob. So I get it. I get its relevance. I get its importance to Nickelodeon history. And because of that, I could argue that it does deserve to be in the top 10. Actually, sorry, to go back a little bit, I think Danny Phantom should be in the top 10, by the way. I don't think it should be in the top 15. It definitely deserves to be in the top 10. But yeah, I mean, I have nothing really to say about Rocko's Modern Life. It's fine, I guess. It's okay. I will say this. I'm glad it's not in the top 10. But, I'm sorry, but... like I said, Ned's Declassified, Danny Phantom, and Rocko's Modern Life are better shows than iCarly. I get it's very influential to Gen Zers. Like, probably a lot of my subscribers have watched this show and are nostalgic for the show. But for me, iCarly felt like it was trying so hard to really emulate what it's like to be a YouTube personality or an online personality, and it felt like it was trying way too hard, and it just wasn't believable to me. I never bought it at all, and I never bought this girl's popularity as a like online streamer. You could tell I didn't really watch the show religiously because I just didn't care for it. I like Miranda Carsgrove. I like Jeanette McCurdy. I'm sure the actors are all fine, and maybe the show was funny, but I don't know. I wouldn't put it in a top 25 list of the greatest Nickelodeon shows of all time, or the best Nickelodeon shows. And if I were, it would probably be in like the 20s. I would not put it at the outskirts of the top 10. Alright, now buckle up, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go. We're going into the top 10. We're going into the top 10. Let's see what's number 10. Oh, man. Oh, man. No. And you all know I love the first few seasons of The Loud House. But considering what it has devolved into now, I can't. Not top 10, at least. I feel like this is way too recent for this show. I get that it surpassed SpongeBob in popularity, and I get there's a really creepy subsection of its fan base that likes to ship the sisters together or with the brother. Like, I don't want to touch that at all. Not with a 20-foot pole. Not with the entire expanse of the universe do I want to touch that. The only reason I would ever like this show again is because I love Luann as a character. You know, Luann will always have my heart. She's the jokester of the family. She tells puns, and she's amazing with it. Loved her pun game. I do like Lincoln now and again, you know. Nah, I don't. I'm sorry. I don't think The Loud House is better than Danny Phantom or Jimmy Neutron, at least in retrospect. You know, I feel like in like 10 years when the show finally ends, I don't think a lot of people are going to remember The Loud House very fondly. Not just because it's been dwindling in quality in the last few years, but also because of the controversy surrounding the show with its creator, Chris Savino, having to step down because of allegations of misconduct. I mean, that will always follow The Loud House. I don't care how many years go by, it will always follow The Loud House. Sorry. I love the voice actors. I would say every single voice actor in the show is phenomenal. Shout out to Grey Delisle Griffin. Still a sweet person. I hope to meet her again soon. In fact, her son voiced Lincoln in like a couple of seasons when he was still little. I like the fact that the show had that one episode where they introduced a gay family and they didn't make it a big deal. I love that. Usually episodes that introduce like same-sex couples are like, oh my god, what are they doing here in the neighborhood? Oh, what's gonna happen now that we have them? The fact that they didn't make a big deal about that, I'm happy for. I'm glad that they didn't make a big deal out of it. But nah, I don't think it should be number 10. Sorry. Ooh, Are You Afraid of... You know what? No complaints. This is a top tier show. This is a top tier show, and it definitely deserves to be in the top 10. Yes, I have no complaints. Are You Afraid of the Dark is one of the best horror TV shows for kids ever. It's great. Some of the episodes are still scary to me as an adult. Some of them are still scary to me as an adult. Yes. This is a perfect placement. It's perfectly where it's at. It doesn't need to be higher. It doesn't need to be lower. It's right where it needs to be. Number 9 is a perfect placement for Are You Afraid of the Dark? No. This should be higher, actually. This show, for the things it addressed and the things that it discussed, the deeper meaning behind a lot of these episodes, the darker the darker meaning to a lot of these episodes. No, I feel like this should be a lot higher. I get that, you know, it's a goofy show about a kid with a football head, but like some of the things that they addressed in the show went completely over my head as a kid. Like completely. Like the whole thing about the Pataki family, like that is just tragic. Honestly tragic. I think this show deserves way more praises. I think Helga needs a lot of help for her obsession with Arnold. I like Arnold's household. It's such an array of characters. Some are terrible, some are funny, some are interesting. I'll never forget one of my favorite scenes in any TV show growing up. There was this mailman. It was snow day in an episode of Hey Arnold, and there was this mailman, and he's just like, I hate the snow. I hate the snow. Boy, oh boy, I hate the snow. I hate the this and I hate the snow. Man, oh man, I hate the snow. And he falls through the ice. Ah! And then he pops out at the bottom of the hill. I hate the snow. I love that scene. The fact that I can even recall it verbatim tells you its lasting impact on me, this show. I love Gerald and Arnold's relationship. I like that one episode where they pretend to be teenagers and they take these teen girls to, I think they took them to prom, which was pretty interesting. I really liked Phoebe as a character. I think she was underutilized, and I really would have loved to learn more about Phoebe as a character. Was there a character named Harold, I believe? Like this big guy with a big chicken, but he had like a long head kind of thing. I remember there was an episode where, like, I think Arnold was having like a fever dream, and then he imagined Harold as a clown. He's like, I'm a big sad clown. Oh, I love that. Oh, such a great show. So memorable. Well, such a great show. Uncle Phil, or not Uncle Phil. Oh, I love the fact that Gerald always refers to Arnold's grandfather as Phil, and he's like, stop calling me Phil. Dan Castellaneta as Arnold's grandfather, really great. Tress MacNeille as the grandmother. Oh, the grandmother, what a character. What a hoot. What an absolute delight. I love, again, the colorful cast of characters just in Arnold's house alone makes this show excellent. The fact that there are more characters out there. The stoop kid, when he jumps off that stoop, when Harold teases him, whoa! I love that scene. That was a great scene. Harold deserved that, because that's the problem with tough guys like Harold, or the wannabe tough guys. They act tough when they know they won't face any repercussion, but when the reality finally hits, that the shit hit the fan and they're gonna have to pay for what they say, you see them run away like the babies they truly are. Like, I love that scene. That whole thing. Great. Oh! Huh? No. I don't... Look, I'm happy you addressed the Brothers Garcia. Another forgotten show that it mentions diversity. I do like the fact that it was a show that really emphasized diverse storytelling, and actually was the first show that introduced me to like a Hispanic household. But yeah, no, not the Brothers Garcia. I'm sorry, the Brothers Garcia is not better than Hey Arnold. It's not better than Jimmy Neutron. It's not better than Danny Phantom. It's not better than Ned's Declassified School Survival Guide. No, it's not better than Rocko's Modern Life, which should be higher. Timmy is an average kid that no one understands. Mom and Dad and Vicky always giving him commands. Big twerp and up in his room, smoking instantly. But his magic little fish grants every wish, 'cause in reality they are his odd parents. Yeah. I have no complaints about this being in the top 5. If you were to think, like, if you could pick 5 shows to truly define what Nickelodeon was, you can't leave out the Fairly OddParents. Yes, it declined in quality around 2007, maybe after Channel Chasers, really. That's when I feel like it really declined in quality. But that was one of the most popular shows on Nickelodeon. It really was. It was innovative, it was clever, it was funny. Cosmo and Wanda are such a hoot. Timmy's a little shit, let's be real, he's a little shit. A little selfish little shit, but I always love that he kind of comes around and learns his lesson. Trixie Tang, always loved Trixie Tang, I always thought she was funny, I'm sorry, I always thought she was funny. Timmy's mom and dad, too, are just a delight. Again, they are the stereotypical stupid mom and dad characters or oblivious parents, but man, I don't think I'll ever see a character that hates another character more than Timmy's dad hates the Dinkelbergs. Like, can you name another character that hates another character in the same show with such ferocity as Timmy's dad hates the Dinkelberg? I mean, it feels like in almost every episode he needs to at least mention how much he hates the Dinkelberg. I wouldn't be surprised if he had like a book where he like lists, even like Homer's hatred for Ned Flanders, I feel like pales in comparison to Timmy's dad's hatred for Dinkelberg. Because there are episodes where like Homer likes Ned. I can't think of a single episode where Timmy's dad really liked Dinkelberg unless he was using Dinkelberg for something. Like it was a purpose for it. You know, there are episodes where Homer and Ned get along, or they pal around, or he gives them advice. I don't know a single episode where, like, Timmy's dad takes the advice of Dinkelberg. He probably would be the last person he would want to hear from. Yeah, this show is iconic. I love the humor of this show. This show is absolutely funny. In its heyday, in its prime, it probably was even funnier, or even... I can't even say it. Yeah, I'm going to take my word back there. I was going to say it was funnier than SpongeBob. I don't know. I feel like some of SpongeBob's best episodes are still better than the best episodes of the Fairly OddParents. But if I were to equate humor, maybe, I could give the edge to the Fairly OddParents. Just because they came up with more, they had more scenarios to work with because you're using magic. Whereas SpongeBob was so isolated to Bikini Bottom and the interaction with the characters. But, I mean, you could also make an argument that means they had to be a little bit more clever with the humor and more inventive and think outside the box, whereas when you have magic, it gives you more freedom to do multiple types of gags. I don't know, as you can see, I'm like battling between myself, which show was the funniest. It is undoubtedly deserving to be in the top 5. I have no complaints with this at all. Yeah, not bad, good choice. Rugrats at number 4, also, I don't disagree. I mean, you could argue it could be in the top 3 between either like 1 or 2 because of how important it was to Nickelodeon's history. This was Nickelodeon's most popular show for many years. For nearly a decade, it was Nickelodeon's most popular show. When you thought about Nickelodeon, you thought about the Rugrats. And the Rugrats paved the way for so many of our favorite Nickelodeon shows. Without the Rugrats, you wouldn't have many children's TV shows getting like movies made, released in theaters or on Netflix. The fact that they had that first movie and it was a huge success, it opened the floodgates. It really did. And it changed the way that we saw cartoons. I know that sounds weird, but it truly is. It's true. It truly is the case. This show is highly influential, very impactful. Who cannot recall an episode featuring Tommy, Chucky, Phil, Lil, Angelica, Susie, Dill, Kimmy later? The parents, like, I would argue, yeah, the parents are not as memorable as other parents from other Nickelodeon shows, but God, like, again, when you think Nickelodeon, you can't help but think of the Rugrats. It's that impactful, it's that influential. I don't think Nickelodeon would be the studio it is today had it not been for the success of the Rugrats as a show. It's funny, it's cute, it's charming. I love the creativity, not just within the writing staff, but also with Tommy and how he sees going on adventures. Like, I remember as a kid, I used to emulate Tommy a lot. I loved Tommy, and I wanted to be like Tommy. Like, I would always tell my friends, we gotta go on an adventure or something like that. I like Tommy a lot. Like, he's a great he's a great lead for a children's cartoon show. I have no problem with this placement. I think it's fine. Absolutely yes. Absolutely yes. Absolutely. Hell yes. It deserves to be number 3. Hell yes, it deserves to be number 3. I have no complaints about that being number 3. All that is truly all that. In its prime, it was honestly one of the best. What's these types of show called? Skit shows or sketch shows? Yeah, sketch. It was like sketch comedy. This honestly was one of the best sketch comedies of its time. And I would almost argue it was damn near at the same level of SNL in its heyday, in its prime. That's how funny, that's how great it was. Like, yes, totally yes. It deserves to be number 3. I have no complaints with it. And once again, with iconic theme songs. All that. This is all that. This is all. Check it, check it, check it. Now this is just an introduction, but I'll blow your mind. The show is all about, and yes, we do it all the time. So sit back in the floor, in the chair, grounds are in the air. Just don't go nowhere, because everything we do and all that. We entertaining you, we all that. My posse and my crew, we all that. So stick still, because we're coming right back. Oh, damn. Damn, that is a phenomenal choice. Absolutely, I have no complaints about that. Hell yeah, it deserves to be here. It deserves to be here. Absolutely, yes. All the yeses. So that means number 2's, it's a battle between SpongeBob and Avatar. And I'm gonna guess, I think SpongeBob is number 2, and I think Avatar is number 1. And let's find out. Am I right? Okay, and yep. Whoa. Okay, you could just let's not look at the Legend of Korra part there. Just look at the Avatar: The Last Airbender part. But exactly, of course, if you're gonna make a ranking of the best Nickelodeon shows of all time, yes, SpongeBob and Avatar, they're always gonna be at battle for number 1 or number 2, and it just depends on your preference. If you prefer like silly comedies and over-the-top humor and things like that, silly gags, Under the Sea, SpongeBob would be number 1 for you. If you enjoy some of the most adult storytelling ever put on screen, most adult storytelling in a show for kids, yeah, Avatar: The Last Airbender, I have no complaints. I have no complaints here. Absolutely, it deserves to be number 1. I love SpongeBob. SpongeBob was more influential on me, but Avatar: The Last Airbender, not The Legend of Korra, Avatar: The Last Airbender is unequivocally and undeniably the greatest show ever created on Nickelodeon. And arguably, it might be even the greatest kids show ever created. There's so many kids shows to really go through, but it's there. It's like top 2. And I don't think it's number 2. Okay, that's how great it is. The storytelling is phenomenal. The characters are deep. The fact that it ties into history is amazing. Like, it is so packed with detail, lore, creativity, wonderful storytelling, great world building, amazing action, deep, profound character development, and great relationships. Like, if you've never seen the original Last Airbender, you gotta see it. I could live with the remakes. I could live with the shitty movie adaptation. The fact that I was able to get this made it worth it. It made it worth it. And you will never, ever be able to replicate this lightning in a bottle, no matter how many times you remake it. I know a lot of people are saying like the live action show is really good and they changed a few things, but I'm sorry, you will never replicate the profound impact and the overall masterpiece that is Avatar: The Last Airbender. It is as perfect as a show can get. I have no complaints with it being #1. None. And I gotta say, I am personally delighted. This, honestly, is the best rankings list I have ever reacted to, because besides a few choices here and there, I mostly agreed with all of these choices. Like, really, like, this is a great choice. That's not a great choice. So I would remove this show. I probably would remove this one too. I probably would remove that one too. Keep that. Hey, keep that. Keep that. Absolutely remove this. And by the way, since I'm on this now, how is this show better than freaking Drake? Where's Drake and Josh? Why is Drake and Josh not in a top 25 ranking list of the best Nickelodeon shows of all time? Where's the Amanda Show? Where's Kenan and Kel? What? And you put Victorious in the freaking list over those shows? Like, I like your top 10 a lot, particularly your top 4. Actually, I would say your top 5 is actually excellent. But what the hell? No Kenan and Kel, no Amanda Show, no Drake and Josh, no Zoe 101. Those shows are better. Those shows are better than Victorious. Those shows are better. It's better than Victorious. It's better. What the hell is Unfabulous doing on this list? Actually, that should be removed. Unfabulous should be replaced with like Zoe 101 at the very least. It should be replaced with Zoe 101. Or Kenan and Kel. Or one of those early 90s or like late 90s, early 2000s shows. Like, it should be replaced. Unfabulous is not a top 25 Nickelodeon show of all time. Nor is Victorious or Sanjay and Craig. Those need to be removed. And like Amanda Show, Drake and Josh, Kenan and Kel, Zoe 101, those shows need to be on here. Those shows should be. Where's As Told by Ginger? I get that no one really remembers that show. Maybe I'm the only one that actually gave a damn about that show. I would argue As Told by Ginger is a top 25 Nickelodeon show. That should be on this list. I like Taina, but I think maybe Taina should be removed too. Because if you're not going to have Kenan and Kel in here, you could easily replace Taina with Kenan and Kel, and I would be okay with that. I would be okay with that, because I want it in the list. I want it in the list. No, keep that. Keep that, definitely. Keep that, most definitely. Keep that, yes. Controversial take. I would take it off the list. I easily could replace this with The Amanda Show, which was way better. I could easily replace this with Drake and Josh, which had the better Miranda Cosgrove. What? How did Drake and Josh not make this list? I'm actually confused. Is it because of the controversy surrounding Drake Bell and his relationship with that underage girl? Is it because of that? Because if you're gonna do that, then you can't put any show produced by Dan Schneider then. Which on the screen. Just saying, if you're going to say you can't put Drake and Josh because of what happened with Drake and his scandal, his controversy, the whole thing with him and the minor, then I'm sorry. Don't put any Dan Schneider show on this list. Remove every single one of them. Okay? Although you leave all that. You leave all that at least. In all honesty, out of all of the ranking articles or articles about ranking something, this might be the best one, and I'm not shocked that it would be Looper. Looper, like I said, I enjoyed their videos, so I feel like the quality has seeped over to their website, to their article here. I'm gonna give a round of applause to Nate D'Agostino. I hope I pronounced your name right. You deserve it. Although I question a few of your choices. But overall, round of applause. You get at least a B+ for this. In fact, you might even veer into an A- because of your shout out to Cousin Skeeter and Taina. Yeah, you either got a B plus. It's either a strong B, light A minus, strong B plus, light A minus. Yeah, I stole that from the melon. Whatever. Overall, I think it is a solid ranking list. I'd love to know what you guys thought of it. And as always, guys, if you'd like to see more videos on this channel, be a part of the Black Critic crew, please hit that subscribe button below. Like this video if you really enjoyed it. And I'm 21 in a second. Actually delighted that I found a really good article ranking something as the Black Critic Guy. Till then, peace, YouTube.